My name is Katie Wilson, and I'm running to be Seattle's next mayor. Incumbent Mayor Bruce Harrell has been a politician in City Hall since 2008. Over that time, the cost to rent or buy a home in Seattle has more than doubled. We've been in a homelessness state of emergency for a decade. And even for those of us in the middle, the cost of living has become far too high. We are at risk of becoming a permanent city of haves and have-nots. It doesn't have to be this way. We can build homes for all of us. We can have streets that feel safe because they are safe. We can make Seattle a home for all of us, for our children and for our children's children. We can do this together, but Seattle needs new leadership. I've spent the last 14 years of my career building and leading coalitions to win major victories for working families. This is your city. I want to bring your power and your voice into City Hall. My name is Katie Wilson, and I'm running for Seattle Mayor. Join me, and let's get it done together. Right now, the city is talking about our comprehensive plan, which is basically the city's plan for growth over the next 10 years. And what we've seen from Mayor Harrell's administration is continually chipping away at where we can build new housings, kind of death by a thousand cuts. And my fear is that this approach is going to lead to a situation where our housing shortage continues and rents continue to climb. There are also things that we can do for renters. I'm a renter myself. One thing we've seen happening is corporate landlords using these companies like RealPage that basically, it's kind of like good old-fashioned price fixing, but with a 21st century spin, right? They use algorithms to basically tell landlords how they can set their rents to maximize profits. And we've seen this practice driving rent increases over the last few years. Some cities around the country are banning the use of RealPage and similar software. That is something that we could do in Seattle.
Assalamu alaikum. So we have November 4 election coming up in Seattle, Washington. And like I said, I would not be voting, but I would be giving you the updates for those of you who are voting. The reason I am not voting, I'm withholding my vote, is because I don't trust none of these politicians. I like her better than Harold because Harold, he is such a corporation, big money, big gun, Israeli AIPAC supporter. There is not evidence that he was, supported by the AIPAC or received money from the AIPAC, but he definitely receives money from a very much so Zionist AIPAC-linked entities. But one thing I always look on these elections is who is more progressive, who is more aligned with the working class. City of Seattle, as you guys know, it's becoming an increasingly oligarchy corporation, ruthless, that are actually at war with the homeless and the poor people and the Black and the marginalized community. This is why they put him as a mayor, because they want to wreak havoc and kill off people covertly as fast as possible, traumatize people, exploit people. Like what I'm going through, it's under his mayorship. This man needs to go. And I am not even voting for either of them. But I am just bringing this to your awareness. There is a November election coming up, November 4th. If you're in Seattle, she lives in my neighborhood in Capitol Hill. So I actually like her. I like what she says. She's very progressive. She called out Israel as a genocide. She's the only one that calls out what's happening in Gaza as a genocide. So this woman is fierce. She is up in her game. And I stopped fanning out politician because I came from household of politicians. My father was a politician, but also I was involved in politics for many years as a human rights activist, as a spokesperson for Stonewall Democrat in Las Vegas, Nevada. I passed an extremely successful legislature that made trans people and queer people not to be discriminated at work and employment in the state of Nevada, while we had a Republican